Cola drips from her chin onto Italian marble. The lobby of JR Enterprises smells like sugar and shame. Correa Vale stands frozen, white shirt soaked, red bowtie dripping, winter coat ruined. Her serving tray trembles in her left hand. Her right hand holds nothing because the big gulp cup is already empty. Already poured. Already laughing in Derek Patterson's grip. Look at this. Derek's voice cuts through the six-story atrium. This one thinks she belongs here. Phones rise. 3. 5. 8 recording angles. The receptionists behind the curved glass desk cover their mouths. Their shoulders shake. Correa's dark skin glistens under track lighting designed to make executives look powerful. Right now it makes her look small. You lost, honey. Derek steps closer. Senior account liaison. Tailored suit. Confidence that comes from never being questioned. The maid's entrance is in the back. Hi friend, before we continue the story, kindly tell us where are you watching from. And hit that subscribe button now for you to get more, and I have something new for you tomorrow. Stay tuned. Thanks. Let's continue. Correa doesn't wipe her face. Doesn't cry. Doesn't run. She looks directly at Derek and speaks so calmly it confuses everyone watching. I need to speak with management. The words land wrong. Like a punchline to a joke nobody told. Derek bursts out laughing. The sound bounces off Carrara stone imported from quarries where Michelangelo once worked. Billions flow through this building every 60 seconds. Pharmaceutical shipments. Defense contracts. Private security networks spanning New York to Miami to Dallas to Seattle. None of it stops for a waitress dripping soda. Management? Derek leans in. Close enough that Correa can smell his cologne mixed with cruelty. Lady, you're dressed like you serve drinks. You think someone like you gets to talk to executives? His voice drops. Intimate. Vicious. You should be grateful I don't have you thrown out by security. Correa's jaw tightens. Just slightly. Just enough. Because Derek Patterson has no idea who he just humiliated. What was Correa really doing in that building? Security radios crackle. 2 guards in black uniforms move toward the center of the lobby. Correa stands in the spreading puddle of cola, winter coat heavy with liquid, watching the room close in. The countdown starts now. Not with words. With body language. The tall guard speaks first. What's going on here? Derek doesn't hesitate. This woman is trespassing. She attacked me and spilled soda on herself. A perfect lie. Delivered with the confidence of someone who's never been doubted. The guard looks at Correa. At her soaked clothes. At her calm face. Then back at Derek's dry suit. That true, ma'am? No. Correa's voice stays level. There are cameras. Derek laughs again. Louder this time. Performing for the phone, still recording. She's crazy. Probably on something. The second guard steps closer. Younger. Uncertain. He glances at the receptionists for confirmation. They look away. Nobody wants to be involved. Nobody wants to contradict Derek Patterson. Senior account liaison. 6 figures. Corner office on the 14th floor. Ma'am, you need to leave. Correa doesn't move. I'm here on business. The words sound absurd. She knows it. They know it. Derek knows it most of all. Yeah. Derek grins. With who? The mop. Laughter ripples through the lobby. A woman in heels whispers to her colleague. An executive adjusts his tie and keeps walking. Nobody stops. Nobody helps. The marble floor reflects everything. Glass walls multiply the humiliation. Correa Vale is alone in a room full of people. HR gets called. The tall guard speaks into his radio. We need a supervisor in the main lobby. Time speeds up. 30 seconds become 20. 20 become 10. The younger guard reaches for Korea's arm. Not rough. Not yet. But the message is clear. You don't belong here. Then Derek says the thing that changes everything. She attacked me first. I want her arrested. The room goes silent. Because now it's not just humiliation. Now it's criminal. Now it's dangerous. Korea's fingers tighten on the serving tray. Her knuckles lighten. But her voice stays calm. Impossibly calm. I didn't touch him. Why would Derek lie about something so easy to prove? The tall guard pulls out handcuffs. Not to use. Just to show. Just to remind Korea Vale what happens next if she doesn't leave. She sees the metal glint under the lobby lights. Sees the phones recording from 3 different angles. Sees the receptionists whispering behind their hands. Last chance, the guard says. 30 seconds. Derek crosses his arms. Satisfied. Victorious. He's already mentally writing the story he'll tell his colleagues upstairs. The crazy woman who tried to cause a scene. The staff who handled it professionally. The system that works. Korea speaks. I'm telling the truth. The younger guard shakes his head. Ma'am, we have a witness saying otherwise. Then check the cameras. That's not how this works. Why not? The question hangs. Nobody answers. Because the answer is obvious. Because people like Derek get believed. People like Korea get removed. That's how buildings like this stay clean. That's how lobbies stay empty of problems. Derek steps forward. Playing to the crowd now. You know what I think? I think she's trying to set up some kind of lawsuit. She came in here looking for trouble. The receptionists nod. One of them mouths, "Oh my God." Another types rapidly on her phone. Within minutes this will be a story. A viral video. A warning about certain people in certain spaces. 20 seconds, the tall guard says. Korea's breathing stays even. Her posture stays straight. But something shifts in her eyes. Something the phones can't capture. Something the guards don't recognize. Because they've never seen someone wait for exactly the right moment. I'm not leaving, she says quietly. The younger guard reaches for her arm. His fingers brush her wet sleeve. The tall guard moves to her other side. They're not hurting her. Not yet. But the choreography is clear. 2 guards. 1 woman. Physics and authority. Derek smiles. This is embarrassing. 10 seconds, the tall guard warns. The crowd grows. An executive stops on the mezzanine level to watch. 2 analysts pause by the coffee station. A delivery driver sets down a package to record. Everyone wants to see what happens when the countdown hits 0. Everyone wants to witness the moment she gets dragged out. Korea closes her eyes. Just for a second. Just long enough to look defeated. Then the elevator chimes. Not the regular elevators. The private one. The one with no buttons. The one that only moves for 1 person. The doors slide open and everyone in the lobby freezes. Because the air just changed. Because someone just arrived who doesn't arrive. Who just stepped out of that elevator. 3 years earlier, Korea Vale sat in a glass conference room in San Francisco, watching numbers dance across 3 monitors. Outside, the Bay Bridge glittered under September sun. Inside, she was building something that would make her dangerous. Algorithms. Predictive models. Systems that could track every dollar moving through corporate infrastructure like blood through veins. She could see fraud before federal regulators. Could map pharmaceutical supply chains from factory to hospital. Could detect the moment someone started stealing. The biotech firm thought they were hiring a consultant. They had no idea they were hiring the person who would expose their shadow acquisitions. Kireya finished her presentation. 12 executives stared at the screen. Nobody spoke. Because what she'd just shown them was impossible. 3 months of hidden transactions. Offshore accounts. Ghost companies buying ghost companies. Who hired you? The CEO finally asked. Kireya smiled. Someone who knew you were lying. She never met the buyer during the acquisition war. Never saw his face. Only received encrypted instructions and wire transfers to a numbered account. Find the truth. Show the numbers. Don't stop until everything is exposed. 2 weeks later, the biotech firm collapsed. Federal charges. Executive arrests. 48 hours of news coverage showing handcuffed men in expensive suits. And Kireya Vale's name nowhere in the story. Because that's how the invisible buyer worked. His name was Riven Cross. And he didn't rule with noise. He ruled with infrastructure. Defense contracts threading through Boston and Washington, D.C. Pharmaceutical distribution spanning New York to Miami. Private security networks in Seattle and Dallas. Silent. Effective. Unstoppable. They met 6 months later at a private dinner in Manhattan. No press. No colleagues. Just 2 people who could see through money. He offered her a job. She offered him something better. The truth about his own company. You have a problem, Kireya said, sliding a folder across the table. Someone inside JR Enterprises is stealing medical supplies. High grade. Hospital shipments. They're replacing real medication with counterfeits and selling the originals offshore. Riven opened the folder. Studied the numbers. Looked at Kireya with new understanding. How long have you known? 3 weeks. Why tell me? Because you're going to help me prove it. They married in secret. No media. No executives. No staff. Because Riven had enemies. Because Kireya was about to become a target. Because the people running the pharmaceutical fraud ring were about to realize someone had built a system that could destroy them. And they would strike first. What did they do to silence Kireya? The story broke on a Tuesday morning. Hospital corruption. Medical supply fraud. Children dying because cancer medication was fake. And at the center of the scandal, according to leaked documents, was Kireya Vale. Financial consultant. Algorithm designer. The woman who supposedly manipulated contracts for profit. Her face appeared on news networks. Her name trended on social media. Federal investigators froze her accounts. Colleagues stopped returning calls. Friends disappeared. Within 72 hours, Kireya went from invisible genius to public villain. Except none of it was true. The criminals inside JR Enterprises had planted evidence. Falsified documents. Created a trail of fake transactions leading directly to Kireya's encrypted accounts. They knew she'd built the system that could expose them. So they destroyed her first. Turned her into the story. Made her the monster. Riven watched it happen in real time. Watched his wife's reputation get erased by the very people she was trying to catch. He had a choice. Protect her publicly and expose their marriage, giving the criminals a direct target. Or hide her. Keep her safe. Let the world think she was guilty while they built a case nobody could ignore. He chose the second option. And Kireya agreed. Because she understood something most people don't. Sometimes you have to disappear to win. She moved into a studio apartment in Brooklyn. Cut her hair. Changed her name on rental documents. Started wearing clothes from thrift stores instead of designer brands. And then she did something nobody expected. She took a job as a waitress in the rooftop restaurant at JR Enterprises. The very building that destroyed her. Not because she was broken. Because she was hunting. Every shift, she watched. Listened. Memorized faces. Learned who laughed too loud. Who avoided certain floors. Who met in corners and whispered about shipments. She served drinks to the people who'd stolen her life. Smiled while they ignored her. Cleaned tables while they discussed quarterly profits built on dead children. And she waited. Because Riven was working behind the scenes. Gathering evidence. Building the case. Waiting for the perfect moment to expose everyone at once. The pharmaceutical fraud ring. The executives who covered it up. The system that let it happen. 3 years of waiting. 3 years of being invisible. 3 years of watching Derek Patterson walk through the lobby every morning like he owned the world. Until today. When he poured soda on her head. When he called her a maid. When he demanded she be arrested. And triggered the one thing he should have avoided. Attention. Because the elevator just opened. And the man stepping out knows exactly who Kerea Vale really is. What is Derek about to discover? The private elevator doors finish opening. A man steps into the lobby. Tall. Dark tailored suit. No badge. No briefcase. No entourage. But the air pressure changes. Like a storm front moving through. Executives on the mezzanine level stop mid-conversation. The receptionists straighten their spines. The analysts by the coffee station go quiet. Even the delivery driver lowers his phone. Because everyone who works at JR Enterprises knows that walk. That presence. That silence that demands attention without asking. Riven Cross. The owner nobody sees. The architect nobody questions. The man whose name appears on exactly 0 company documents but whose decisions shape everything. Derek's confident smile cracks. Just slightly. Just enough. The tall guard loosens his grip on the handcuffs. The younger guard takes a half step back. Because protocol just changed. Because whoever this man is, he outranks everyone in the room. Riven looks at the sticky floor. At the cola spreading in dark rivers across white marble. At the woman standing in the center of it all. Soaked. Surrounded. 30 seconds from arrest. His voice cuts through the silence. Calm. Controlled. Dangerous. What's going on here? Derek rushes forward. Trying to regain control. Trying to be the first voice heard. Sir, this woman caused a scene. She's trespassing Anne. Riven raises one hand. Palm out. Derek's mouth snaps shut. Mid-sentence. Mid-lie. Because that gesture just said everything. Stop talking. Stop moving. Stop existing until I decide otherwise. Riven walks toward Kerea. His shoes click on marble. Each step measured. Each step pulling focus. He stops 3 feet away. Close enough to see the cola still dripping from her chin. Close enough to see her trembling hands. Close enough to see the phone still recording everything. Are you hurt? 3 words. Spoken directly to her. Not to Derek. Not to security. Not to the crowd. To Kerea Vale. The woman nobody was listening to 30 seconds ago. She shakes her head. Slowly. Because she can't speak yet. Because if she speaks, something will break. Riven turns to face the lobby. Faces the phones. Faces Derek and the guards and the receptionists and the executives and everyone who watched this happen. And then he detonates everything. What does Riven reveal that destroys Derek's world? Riven Cross speaks to the crowd. His voice carries no emotion. No anger. Just fact delivered like a verdict. She's my wife. The lobby explodes. Gasps rip through the air. Someone drops their phone. The receptionists lean forward. The analysts stare. The executive on the mezzanine grabs the railing. Derek's face drains of color. His mouth opens. Nothing comes out. Because his brain just stopped processing reality. The wife. The actual wife. Of the man who owns everything. Standing in a puddle of soda. Humiliated by a senior account liaison who thought she was nobody. But Riven isn't finished. He turns to Derek. Looks him directly in the eyes. And drops the second bomb. She also wrote the internal tracking system that flagged every pharmaceutical shipment you've been stealing. Silence. Complete. Total. The kind of silence that happens when the world stops spinning. Derek's knees buckle. Just slightly. Just enough for everyone to see. That's not, Derek starts. Medical supplies, Riven continues, his voice sharpening. High-grade cancer medication. Shipped to hospitals in Boston, Miami, Dallas. You've been replacing real drugs with counterfeits for 18 months. Selling the originals offshore through ghost accounts registered in your cousin's name. Derek's face goes from pale to gray. You can't prove. Riven pulls out his phone. Taps the screen twice. Within seconds, phones across the lobby start buzzing. Notifications. Alerts. Emergency messages from the company system. Executives pull out their devices. Their faces change as they read. Accounts frozen. Shipments flagged. Federal investigators notified. Every transaction logged. Every fake shipment tracked. Every stolen veal documented. 3 years of evidence compiled by the woman standing in the puddle wearing a waitress uniform. Derek stumbles backward. His expensive shoes slip on the wet marble. He catches himself on a pillar. Stares at Correa like she's a ghost. Because she is. The ghost of the woman he thought was destroyed. The ghost who's been watching him for 3 years. The ghost who just ended his life. Security radios crackle again. But this time they're not coming for Correa. Who else is about to fall? Federal agents enter through the main doors. 6 of them. Dark suits. Badges. Handcuffs already out. They move through the lobby like a choreographed performance. Straight to Derek. Straight to the receptionists who laughed. Straight to the HR supervisor who was called to remove Correa. Derek Patterson, you're under arrest for pharmaceutical fraud, conspiracy to distribute counterfeit medication, and wire fraud. Derek's hands go up automatically. The agents cuff him. Read his rights. His expensive suit suddenly looks cheap. His confidence looks like costume. He glances at Correa one last time. She doesn't look away. Doesn't smile. Just watches him understand what he never saw coming. The receptionists start crying. Both of them. Because their names just appeared on the evidence list. Accessory to fraud. Falsifying shipment records. 3 years of signing documents they never questioned. 3 years of helping Derek move stolen medication through the system. One of them begs. We didn't know. We were just doing our jobs. An agent shakes his head. You signed 47 falsified shipment manifests. You knew. The HR supervisor tries to leave. Makes it halfway to the exit before 2 agents block the door. She turns back. Looks at Riven. Looks at Correa. Her voice cracks. This is a mistake. No, Riven says quietly. 3 years ago was the mistake. Today is justice. The tall security guard who pulled out handcuffs stands frozen. The younger guard backs away slowly. Neither of them touched Correa. Neither of them signed documents. But both of them followed Derek's orders without question. Both of them believed the lie because it was easier. Phones keep recording. But now they're capturing something different. Not humiliation. Consequence. The people who laughed getting led away in handcuffs. The system that protects certain people finally holding them accountable. An executive shouts from the mezzanine. I want my lawyer. Another agent looks up. We'll call them from the federal building. Within 10 minutes, the lobby clears. Derek gone. Receptionists gone. HR supervisor gone. 6 arrests total. 18 more coming according to the evidence Correa compiled. 3 years of watching. Listening. Documenting. Every fake shipment. Every stolen vial. Every life destroyed by counterfeit cancer medication. The lobby goes quiet again. But this time the silence feels different. What does Correa do now? Correa finally wipes her face. Uses the corner of her red apron. The cola is sticky. Her coat is ruined. Her white shirt will never be the same. But she's standing. Still standing. After 3 years of being invisible. After 3 years of serving drinks to criminals. After 3 years of waiting for exactly this moment. Riven steps closer. Doesn't touch her. Not yet. Not in front of the cameras still recording. But his voice drops to something private. Something only she can hear. You good? She nods. Once. Sharp. Definite. Because she is good. Better than good. Victorious without needing to celebrate. Vindicated without needing applause. The remaining staff watch from the edges of the lobby. Analysts. Assistants. Security. The people who didn't laugh. The people who didn't help either. They stand in that uncomfortable middle space between guilty and innocent. Not criminals. But not heroes. Correa looks at them. One by one. Making eye contact. Letting them see her. Really see her. Not as a waitress. Not as a victim. As the architect of everything that just happened. One of the analysts steps forward. Young woman. Maybe 25. Her voice shakes. I'm sorry. I should have said something. Correa's response is quiet. Calm. Yes. You should have. No anger. No forgiveness. Just fact. The analyst nods. Accepts it. Walks away carrying the weight of what she didn't do. The delivery driver who recorded approaches next. Holds out his phone. I got everything. The soda. The lies. All of it. You want me to send it to you? No, Correa says. Send it to the federal prosecutor. Case number is on the company alert. He nods. Starts typing. Becomes part of the evidence instead of part of the entertainment. Riven finally takes Correa's hand. Not dramatic. Not performative. Just steady. Real. 3 years of marriage nobody knew about. 3 years of working in shadows. 3 years of building a case that just destroyed an entire criminal network. Let's go home, he says. She squeezes his hand. Looks at the sticky marble floor. At the lobby that used to belong to her. At the building where she was erased and then resurrected. Not yet, she says. One more thing. What final move does Correa have planned? Hashtag Chapter 10. Riven turns to face the phones still recording. The ones held by staff who stayed. The ones mounted on walls. The security cameras capturing everything. He speaks directly to them. Speaks to everyone watching now and everyone who will watch later when this goes viral. You just witnessed what happens when people forget that dignity isn't about job titles. It's about character. He pauses. Lets the word settle. My wife spent 3 years serving drinks to the people who framed her. She smiled while they ignored her. She cleaned tables while they discussed profits built on stolen medication that killed children. And she documented everything. Kireya stands beside him. Still soaked. Still wearing the red apron. But her posture has changed. Shoulders back. Chin up. The woman she was before the frame job. The woman she never stopped being. Riven continues. The question isn't why Derek Patterson threw soda on her. The question is why nobody stopped him. Why people laughed. Why phones recorded instead of helping. Why the system protected the lie instead of the truth. The remaining staff shift uncomfortably. Because they're being held accountable without being arrested. Being judged by their silence instead of their actions. So now I'm asking you, Riven says, looking directly into the nearest phone. When you saw what happened in this lobby, who were you? He lets the question hang. Were you Derek? The one who humiliated someone for entertainment? Pause. Were you the receptionist? The one who laughed because everyone else was laughing? Pause. Were you security? The one who followed orders without questioning if they were right? Pause. Or were you the person who stayed silent because speaking up felt too risky? The lobby is absolutely quiet. Because that question just moved from the screen into real life. From this story into every story. From Kireya's humiliation into everyone's choice. Riven takes Kireya's hand again. They walk toward the exit together. Through the sticky floor. Past the remaining staff. Past the cameras. Past the marble and glass and money that tried to erase her. Kireya stops at the door. Turns back one last time. Looks at the lobby where she was destroyed and rebuilt. Where she lost everything and gained something better. Proof that power isn't about position. It's about patience. She doesn't say anything. Doesn't need to. Her presence says everything. Then she walks out. Into the Manhattan daylight. Into the life she earned by refusing to stay erased. And the question remains. Hanging in the air. Waiting in the comments. Living in everyone who watched. Who were you in that room?